A man being sentenced to prison remains in critical condition tonight after being shot in a courtroom at the Criminal Justice Center in Philadelphia. 24-year-old Sean Frazier had just been sentenced to 2 to 4 years for a parole violation when he flipped over a table and lunged at Judge Gary Glazer. Sheriff's Deputy Thomas Clark wrestled with Frazier and then pulled his gun and shot him in the lower back, sending bystanders fleeing.
Boom, boom, and I screamed and I ran. I was in the hallway.
Officers rushed to the 11th floor courtroom from all over Center City. Paramedics rushed Frazier to Thomas Jefferson University Hospital, where he underwent surgery. His mother says police didn't need to resort to gunfire.
Sean ain't never been in trouble. He's been a good
Photographer
kid.
Anthony Frederick has been ordered to stand trial for the murder of porn actress and model Natel King. Her body was found in a wooded area in White Marsh Township back on March 23rd. King had been missing for 3 weeks after completing a photo session with Frederick in Conshohocken. Frederick's assistant, Jennifer Mitkus, was also ordered to stand trial, she on charges of lying to investigators.
Hunt. To receive information from the hospital that Mr. Moldulski frequents the Route 13 corridor, our troopers continue to patrol that area and attempt to locate Mr. Moldulski.
Staff members searched the grounds, then called police.
We had a full response with our aviation unit, which is our helicopter, K-9 dogs, and additional patrols. We saturated the area, but we were unable to locate Mr. Moldulski. Should have some concern and should be notified of that he's out in the community.
Alabama tonight are probing the shooting deaths of 3 police officers. The cops were gunned down in Birmingham at a suspected drug house. Sources tonight say 3 suspects are in custody. Right now, it's unclear exactly why the officers were at the house.
Smashed into an auto body shop in Pennsauken today. This about 3 p.m. The Beacon Auto Body at Route 130 and Beacon Avenue. The car got all the way inside the building. At least 1 person was hurt. No word yet from Pennsauken police on what caused this. Peaceful neighborhood until tonight, but residents in Philadelphia's Tacony section are upset over tonight's discovery of a cache of explosives and the police shooting of a pit bulldog that was guarding the house. Thursday night, Jim's off. I'm Rob Jennings. The big story is exclusive to Action News. It's a drug bust that turned up explosives at a home guarded by an attack dog. Michelle McCormack is live in the 6500 block of Torresdale Avenue with the rest of this. Michelle?
Well, Rob, only Action News was there for the aftermath of this narcotics bust. And I say aftermath because when police moved in, they found a lot more than drugs.
All the cops swarmed in, and then all of a sudden we were sitting there and we just heard pop, 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 like the gunshots. And the one guy was saying something about the dog was out of control.
When narcotics officers moved in on a drug suspect living at 6532 Torresdale Avenue, they shot his pit bull first. It was a shock to neighbors who described it as a non-threatening animal. But neighbors were soon shocked to learn about what was found inside the home. Some $70,000 of crystal methamphetamine.
He's having the drugs delivered through a major carrier, one of your major package carriers, and he's distributing them in bulk throughout different parts of the city.
But the findings did not stop there. Officers also found at least a dozen guns, including a Tommy gun, and the most frightening discovery of all, an improvised explosive device and materials to make more. It was delicate work for the bomb disposal unit, bringing the devices out one by one and placing them in a protective container for possible detonation. Among their take, a homemade cannon.
I don't think that at any moment tonight public safety was greatly in danger. We did not have to conduct any evacuations, but clearly anybody that's involved in this kind of activity involving drugs and in possession of these kind of devices poses a significant risk.
Now, police don't believe the homeowner who they have brought into custody, James Hoagland, is a terrorist. However, depending on how much bomb-making materials they find, he could be charged under new federal anti-terrorism laws. For now, though, he is being held and could be charged on state drugs and weapons violations. Live in Tacony, Michelle McCormack, Channel 6 Action News. Rob.
At the weapons seized in last night's police raid in Torresdale. As we told you exclusively last night at 11, what started out as a drug bust
that's involved in this kind of activity involving drugs and in possession of these kind of devices poses a significant risk.
Now, police don't believe the homeowner who they have brought into custody, James Hoagland, is a terrorist. However, depending on how much bomb-making materials they find, he could be charged under new federal anti-terrorism laws. For now, though, he is being held and could be charged on state drugs and weapons violations. Live in Tacony, Michelle McCormack, Channel 6 Action News. Rob.
at the weapons seized in last night's police raid in Torresdale. As we told you exclusively last night at 11, what started out as a drug bust in the 6500 block of Torresdale Avenue turned up a cache of weapons and explosives. 43-year-old James Hoagland faces a long list of charges, including possessing weapons of mass destruction. Action News reporter Dan Cuellar is live outside the district attorney's office. Dan, that charge is very interesting. Explain it to us, please.
Well, Rob, when you think of a weapon of mass destruction, you think of a nuclear bomb or something along those lines. But under an interesting new weapons of mass destruction law enacted by the Pennsylvania legislature post 9/11, it also covers other types of bombs and instruments that could hurt masses of people. It is only the second time that any such law has been applied anywhere in the country, and both cases happen to be right here in Philadelphia.
And weapons of mass destruction severely punishes those who possess such dangerous equipment in their homes or on their persons, but it also punishes those who are attempting to manufacture these kind of devices.
And these are exclusive pictures obtained by Action News of the device in question. A homemade bomb made of a plastic and acid tablets jar. It had a quarter stick of dynamite that acted as the fuse. The jar was filled with gunpowder and stuffed with bullets, so when the thing blew, it would shoot bullets all over the place like shrapnel.
That device, according to the bomb squad, was very serious and jeopardized the lives of everybody in that community.
As Action News first reported last night, the device was found by the Philadelphia Police Narcotics North Field Division during a drug raid at 6539 Torresdale Ave. Not only did they find over $100,000 in crystal meth, but a huge cache of weapons, including sawed-off shotguns and handguns with silencers. Action News also obtained pictures of a cannon, which police also found at the home. And this is the man being charged in connection with the case, 34-year-old James Hoagland. Authorities say he placed a device on a shelf on his bed where he could easily reach it in case he needed it.
If this, drug dealer was trying to defend his meth house and threw this thing out in the street, could have killed people in every direction.
The Hoagland case is only the second to be tried under the new weapons of mass destruction law. Last year, Johnny Bellman and his sons Benjamin and Harry became the first people to be charged under the law. They were allegedly in possession of a rocket-propelled grenade, and authorities say they were preparing to retaliate against a rival drug gang for killing another of Bellman's sons.
It could have hurt so many people. And that's why our DA is so tough on crime, because there's so many lives that could be lost.
So under the definition of weapons of mass destruction in Pennsylvania, DA Lynn Abraham says you don't have to go to the Med-East to find them. You'll find them right here. The rival drug gangs are becoming so violent and dangerous, they're also in their possession. Now, right now, Hoagland is being held on $10 million bail, and if convicted on the various charges, he could face the rest of his life in prison.
Lewis, Delaware, for State Trooper Christopher Shea. The 31-year-old corporal was killed when his cruiser was hit by a car driving the wrong way on Route 1 near Milford early Sunday morning. The driver of that car, apparently fleeing the scene of another accident, was also killed. Corporal Shea is survived by his wife and 2 children. Funeral services will be held tomorrow at the Bethel United Methodist Church in Lewis, Delaware.